Hey guys, it's been a minute, so let me get the other camera up. Hey guys, it's been a minute, so I'm just going to give a quick word. I know many of you are at work. I'm Khalilah Johnson. For those that will be watching the replay, I'm Khalilah Johnson, your undefeated life coach, and I have been gone for a minute. I was doing broadcasts several times, and then I had to withdraw to be able to hear what God was saying and direction and put some plans together for what God is doing in this hour. But I just wanted to encourage you this morning. Hi, Pastor Karen. I know, Karen, I am so excited to speak to you today. Man, there's so much that God has been doing. And so I just wanted to hurry up and give a brief word before I re-record this podcast show. I wanted so badly to come on because there were so many things that God was saying in this hour. And I love sharing. Hey, Amaryllis. Hey, sis. Thanks for joining. So I wanted to just give you a quick what I just heard, and I know that before I even record, I wanted to share this part of it. God is saying that there's been a lot of anxiety, especially even for me. There was a lot of things that God had me learn and sit at the tables, and I never felt like I could get it all in. I could ingest it all. And as He would download information and what He wanted me to do, it expanded beyond what I thought I was capable of doing. And what happens with that is that when we see God-sized vision and we understand what our background, and we look at our resume and we look at our talents and we say, there's no way that I can make this happen. How do you expect to get all of this from me? And what God was saying, good morning, what God was saying is that this is the thing. Pace yourself. This is a generational blueprint. Because many times we have the society and the norm of the society that says we've got to hurry up and do it all in one lifetime. But God says the plans are so big, it's that I'm giving you the foundations to be able to leave the blueprint so the next generation can carry it on. Some things it's not going to be built in your lifetime. A lot of things will. You'll do great and grand things in my name, but also remember that you don't have to worry about how this thing is going to play out. And so for time and seasons, God would give all of these things to me, visions that were beyond me. I remember I was at a conference in 2018. It was a writing conference held by Apostle Jennifer LeClaire, and she was talking about I remember it was a VIP session, and I was talking to her about all the things that God was downloading and how overwhelmed I was. I had nobody to give me language for what this expanse of things that little old me, was going to do. And I remember asking her, should I ask God to stop? Because I felt like I was flooded with, I was like, as soon as I started writing one book, He gave me 20 more, and I don't even know where to start. And it actually paralyzed me for a season. Go to this class, learn real estate. Then the next week I'm in a trading class. And then the next week I'm in another class for, oh goodness, it was so many writing class. And then I was in another conference, and then I was taking another plane. And I never felt like I was getting all that I was supposed to get. Meanwhile, these visions and dreams and book titles and things that God wanted me to build, and I'm sitting here saying, God, this is too much for me. But what God has said, exactly. It was meant to be too much for you. Because many times we've gravitated to a survival mode, and that means that we got to get it all done. And so then we start to become anxious, and then we become paralyzed. We look at what's in our hand and what's in our resources, and we say, how exactly is this going to happen? And God says, this is the thing. First of all, it's all on me. I don't send you to where you have lack. That's the enemy. And so when I tell you to sit down for a season, meanwhile, He's giving me all of this, and I already feel like I'm behind schedule. God says, you're never behind. As soon as you say yes to me, one moment with me, I can accelerate time. I can slow it down. I'm the Father of time. So never worry about trying to do what everybody else in this fast-paced society. I'm creating a generational mindset. That means that there are things that I'll start that people that I'll never meet that come from my bloodline will finish. That's a kingdom mindset. That means that I am not trying to be all. I'm just trying to do my part. And if I'm the one that just builds the foundation, and they're the ones that get to go into the fullness of this promise, that's okay. Because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than you. And it's supposed to be. We sometimes think about what happens in our lifetime, and God says, no, think bigger. I'm an eternal God. I know the beginning from the end. There were dreams that Daniel would give, and God has been having me study Daniel, but there were dreams that Daniel would get that were for a time that hasn't even come yet. And so when we expand our minds and not think of what we can get done in our hands, we recognize that the place in God that we can just settle down for a moment and just say, God, what am I supposed to do with my lifetime? What is it that I'm supposed to do with my year? What am I supposed to do with my day, God? Let me not get so overwhelmed with a grandiose vision that's bigger than me anyway, that I couldn't accomplish in my own lifetime, and I'm not supposed to. It's not about me. And so it just gives you the peace to know that God has already declared He's got you. Every part of this, He said, I wrote out for you, even before you were birthed. You were a part of a bigger plan, a kingdom mandate. So never feel as though you have to rush or accept things that are before God's time. Don't worry about man promoting you, because God's alignment, God's perfect timing, it's already been ordained. Even when you feel like you've made mistakes, God says, I knew those days would come. And even though the enemy meant it for bad, Joseph declares, God used it for good. And so nothing gets wasted in the kingdom. He's omnipresent. He's all-knowing. He already knew before the end, before the beginning. He knew everything about you, even every hair on your head. You don't have to rush this. You just have to ask Him, if I've gotten off track trying to do this in my own power, God, get me back in line with your plans, so that I don't feel this anxiousness and this overwhelmedness. I'm about to re-record this podcast because something was wrong with the audio, and I promise you, I'm fine with it, re-recording it, because I've never felt more in line with purpose. It's just like, it's no effort. It's just, I've never felt more in line with purpose. And so it's saying it's trying to reconnect. I had an issue with the other computer, but we praise God anyway. And I just wanted to affirm you this morning and just redirect your focus. If any one of you are out of focus, if you've been feeling like you've been trying to get it all done because you know that there's a prophecy that this is the decade to get it done, just calm. Peace, be still. And just remember that God had already known you. He knew the plans that He has for you. He knows the plans that He has for you. And just before you step out of His will, stay again. Just step back and say, what's my part? What's my part today? What's my part of the vision? What's my assignment? And so I just wanted to bless you with that. A couple of notes that I took: pace yourself, do your part, and pass the blueprint down. God bless you. God bless you. Again, listen, I am coming out with this podcast. This will be the second go around for Broken Into Purpose. The first time God set me down, it was it was an online radio show. It was very popular, but at the same time, I had to step back because God says, finish the process. And so I'm so grateful, because there's something that happens when an obedient instruction is followed through, and the oil that comes from that on the other side of this. So I never had to worry about turning down opportunities or stepping away, because God's timing is perfect, and I don't do this for anyone else but Him. And so when we remember that we are part of a bigger vision, we can take the lies of the enemy that says you're so behind schedule, you aren't doing your part. One moment in God's a moment in God's presence can make up for years out of it. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope that you got this, because it's saying due to poor wireless connection. I don't know. It does that when I have a word from the Lord. It's okay. The enemy is bound from interfering with God's plans is. So He can only do but so much. So we praise God, and I just bless you today. I bless you today. I bless you today. I bless you today. And so for those of you that will be watching, I'll give you the recording that nobody was on the other page, on my new page, and I'll share that so that you can get the last of this. But remember this, on February 2nd, I'm coming out with podcast, Broken into Purpose. On February 14th, I'm coming out with the second podcast that's dealing with relationships, narcissist relationships, loving yourself, loving God, learning how to build confidence after so many things of relationships tried to destroy you, generational relationships, the foundation of relationships, marriage and love. And so it's so much to discuss. And I'm going to come out with both podcasts in February, and I'm working on releasing them now. And so stay tuned. It'll be on all of the podcasts. It should be on iTunes and Spotify and all those platforms. So stay tuned, and bless you, and have a wonderful morning. Have a wonderful day. And I will get back to you soon. God bless.